Imagine getting up every day full of energy as if you were in your 20s again. What would that be like? What would it be worth to you? What is your health worth to you? Think about it. Your health isn't everything, but without it, everything else is nothing. And yet, too many of us are taking it for granted until something goes wrong. And no one wakes up hoping to be diagnosed with a disease or chronic illness. And yet, we've never been taught how to be proactive in our health through our school or public health. As a registered health coach and integrative health practitioner, I believe it's time this information is made available to everyone. Combining new knowledge around your health and the ability to do my functional medicine lab tests in the comfort of your own home will allow you to optimize your health for today and all your tomorrows. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Wait for Your Wake-Up Call podcast. I am Melissa Deely, your host, and today I have the wonderful Sara Im with me here to share her story. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
I'm excited to have you here and have you share your story because it is such a wonderful story of human resilience, of hope. And let me just introduce a little bit of it to the audience, and then I'm going to have you share it in your own words.
Okay.
But Sara Im grew up in Cambodia, where she overcame 4 years of captivity and mass genocide that claimed 2 million lives. That is all I need to share, because I want you to tell your story in your words.
Thank you, Melissa. Yeah. To be fair, I'll start from the beginning.
Please do.
Yeah, I grew up in Cambodia. For our audience or listener that never know where Cambodia be, it's next door to Thailand, Vietnam, and Laos. And I grew up in the countryside as the kid of the farmers. I was a firstborn child. And you can imagine how much love I received. So, and my parents encouraged me to stay in school, to get higher education. They don't want me to grow up to be a farmer. They know the life is very hard, very difficult. So with that in mind, as soon as I can, I went off to college. And college is in a capital city, far away from home. That means I left my family behind and I went to pursue my higher education. Unfortunately, while I was away from home, unfortunate thing happened to Cambodia. That when the communist Khmer Rouge took over our country, they came in with military takeover. They have a military truck and soldier with automatic weapons. And we were so fearful. And they immediately shut down the whole country. Complete shutdown. That means nothing was open, including the transportation and the post office. So I have no way to reach out to my family. I cannot go home.
So I just want to stop you there for a minute, because we've just come out of a pandemic where the population all over the world is aware of the shutdowns that we had through the pandemic. But what you're describing is even more than what we experienced during the pandemic.
You are right, Melissa. Yes, the shutdown in Cambodia at that time, it's a total shutdown. There is no exception. Here in our country right now, at least we have the grocery store to go to. At least we have the hospital that open to receive the patient, and so on and so forth. But when they shut down in Cambodia, there's nothing. Nothing was open, including the bank. The bank, imagine you have the credit card to use, but you can't use it because nothing it's open.
You can't access your money. You can't access food. You can't, as you said, send a message to your family to let them know that you're safe or find out how they're doing, and you can't get home.
Right.
Short of walking, maybe, I don't know, did they have checkpoints so you couldn't even walk?
I could not even walk because I was too far away.
Too far away. And again, no food. You can't walk very far on an empty stomach.
Yeah. I was 350 miles away.
Right.
I cannot walk
Far
that
too
far.
far. Yes, exactly.
Right. So they evacuate the population from all the city, and the evacuation is another drastic, traumatic event because we had to leave everything behind, and we have no clue where are we going, where.
Right.
So we went out to nowhere without knowing, and we end up sleeping on the ground and eating the little food that we carry from home. And then once it's gone, it's gone. We will be hungry. It's very dramatic. And I end up in a forced labor camp, controlled by armed guard. They got us with their automatic weapon all the time. And they push us to work extremely hard, like 16 hours a day in the intense heat. The heat in Cambodia is on the average about 95 to 100 degrees. And we work under that sun, and we was exhausted and starved. We received very little food and no time to sleep. We only a few hours of sleep every night, no rest. So we end up getting sick. Getting sick because you as a health professional, if you don't have enough sleep, you don't have enough rest, and not enough food, you will be sick.
Absolutely. Your energy sources are gone, and your immune system takes a lot of energy. So you don't have the energy to have a strong immune system anymore. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just how old were you at this point? I know you had started at university. Were you 18, 19, 20, 21? I know very young, but what age?
I was 21. I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I become too sick to work, they sent me to an infirmary waiting to die because there is no doctor, no medication to help me to get better. In fact, they eliminate the doctors and the nurse and all the educated. So I did not get any help there, and I realized I need to do something to get out of that place, because if I stay, I will get sicker and contract more disease from other people. So I know that I cannot stay in that place too long. But where would I go? If I go back to the working place, I cannot work. They will not let me stay there. If I run away from the whole place, where can I go? There's a armed guard all over. Anyway, so I realized I don't have any option. I cannot do anything by my own. So I started praying. At that time, I believe that there is God. And I pray and I ask God to help me. God, please help me to survive. So I keep praying every night. And then one morning when I woke up very early than usual, and I realized I have a little extra energy. Maybe I can sneak out. And that's what I did. I sneak out from there. I went to the working place. And fortunately enough, I met this young team leader, and she kind of feels sympathy for me, and she tried to help me out. So she talked to the people in the kitchen and asked them to see if they can use me. And they did. That was my life-saving activity right there. That's how I survived the first time. And I stay and I work in the kitchen. It's just like winning the lottery, because everybody else starved to death working in the intense heat, long hour, and I got to work in the kitchen in the shade. I got more access to food. So all in all, I am in a better position. So I start to gain energy, feel a little better and every day. So eventually I gain myself back. I gain more energy and I start to gain weight. I become almost normal again. So when they saw me look normal, they pull me out from the kitchen and throw me back into the rice field again. But anyway, at least I get that time to recover myself. So I cannot complain much more than that, because without that time to rest in the kitchen, I would not be here talking to you.
Right.
Yeah. So after 4 years living in this camp, they start to move the camp. There was something going on in the distance, and they know something which I don't know.
Can
So
I
they move us.
can I just
They move.
interrupt you before you go on to the moving? I just wanted to get a timeline perspective of how long you were in the kitchen, if you remember. And was that in the first year or in the second year? I know you were there for 4 years altogether. At what time in that 4 years were you able to work in the kitchen and regain your health?
If I remember correctly, almost the end of the first year, I was
Okay.
in the kitchen and I stayed there for about several months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, you were put back into the fields and you stayed for almost 3 more years working in the fields in the intense heat, 16 hours a day with almost no food.
Yes. Yes.
But you were able to maintain your health and energy through that time. Maybe not perfectly, but you didn't get sent back to the infirmary.
Well, I got sent back, but I sneak out again. There's a couple time because I know my way. So so back and forth a few times because
Right. Okay.
I refuse to stay in the infirmary.
Right. Good
Yeah.
for you. Good for you. Okay. So after 4 years, they started to move the camp.
Yeah. Yeah. They move in the direction to the jungle. When I realized that we are closer and closer into the big jungle, and I was so disappointed because in my mind, I was hoping that they still stay close to the main national road. It's easy for me to, escape and go to find my family. But when I realized we are going to the jungle, so at this time, I am more determined than ever. So I need to escape in order for me to get out of this captivity and to find my family. So I decided to escape, and I gathered 3 close friends. I asked them to escape with me, and they agreed to come with me. So 4 of us, we wait until nighttime, and we escaped. It was a very risky escape, but we rather die than living in that situation. So thank goodness, God must have directed us that we didn't get lost in the jungle, and we found our way out from there. And when the morning come, we look at each other's face and we just laugh, and we know that we are free. We are free.
What an
So it just
incredible feeling that must have been.
incredible. So from there, we keep walking without knowing the direction, but we try to trace back where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we were trying. And then as soon as we saw some people, we asked for direction to go to my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
So follow the direction, and finally, after a long, 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 long walk, I got to my hometown and tracked down my family. Eventually, I found them.
Do you recall how many days of walking you had to go through?
Must be at least a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long walk.
And you would have been having to somehow get food during that time and water.
Yeah, we stopped by uh, some people in the village along the way, and we asked for help, and they were kind. And there's something that I need to tell the listener right now. The whole country had been liberated for 4 months before I escaped.
Wow.
So that's why when we got out from the jungle, nobody really cared
Right. And
to 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 push us back into captivity again,
right.
because they are already free.
Mm-hmm. And that's why people were able to help you, and you weren't at risk of asking the wrong people for help. So, how soon after you escaped did you discover that the country had already been liberated for 4 months?
We didn't know. We didn't know until we got to find my family.
Ah,
But we were just so amazed why people did not stay in the captivity like we
right,
did.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
But my family, my mom told me that my dad went out on his bicycle every day looking for me.
Hmm.
He keep asking people, "Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my daughter?" Everywhere, nobody saw me, and my family thought that I was dead.
Mm-hmm. That must have been very hard on them too.
Yeah, yeah. And I found them when I was extremely skinny. I
Mm-hmm.
was just skin and bone. Look like I look like a 95 years old woman.
And you're 25 now.
Yeah, yeah, just skin and bone. Yeah. But from there, my mom pampered me with her wonderful organic food, organic vegetable that she planted in her backyard and all that. She nurtured me back to good health again. It took more than a year for me to recover to almost like myself again.
I bet, because you'd had already 4 years of being starved and overworked, and then you had 2 weeks or more of walking. And again, a lot of energy expended to do all of that walking and not enough food. You were just dependent on the kindness of strangers to give you extra.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I finally regained my health. There was like a woman's cycle. I
Mm.
didn't have it for 4 years, and then
Yeah.
another year,
Right.
so total of 5 years that
Yes.
I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from there, we try to rebuild a new life, and then my mom realized that our life is still in danger. Uh, the whole country was in a chaotic situation. We don't have anything, no infrastructure, nothing. So it will be harmful, like dangerous for me as a young single woman. So she encouraged me to escape out of Cambodia. At that time, there's no airplane, no bus line yet. So I cannot get a ticket to fly out. The way that we want to get out is to escape through the border of Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I told that Cambodia is next door to Thailand, so
Yes.
that's how I went through, walked through the border that filled with landmines. But again, God protected us. That
And when you say us, was it your whole family with you or the friends that had escaped with you?
I have one, my mom's cousin
Mm-hmm.
went along with me,
Right.
two of us. And we also wait for other people that have a goal to cross the border also. So a few of us
Crossed
went
together.
together, crossed the
Yes.
border together.
And
And
the
then,
landmines were on the Cambodia side, I presume. Once you got into Thailand, then you were free and there was no more landmines on the Thailand side, correct?
yeah, the landmine is right at the border. I don't know who put it, but it's right at the border
To
to
stop, to
separate.
try and stop you escaping.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
separate the country.
Right.
So as soon as I crossed over to Thailand, I found a refugee camp that was set up by the United Nations.
Mm-hmm.
And I registered as a refugee and made connection with my relative in United States. And that's how I come to United States. He sponsored me to come. Yeah.
And what year was that?
1981.
Right.
I left Cambodia in 1980 and I
Mm-hmm.
got here late 81.
Right.
Yeah.
And once you got to Thailand, I presume you were able to get messages to your family that you were there safely, or was it not safe for your family to be
It's
communicating?
not there's still no post office. There's no
Right.
way to send the and then one time there's somebody that need to go back to Cambodia and I found out and I sent a letter through them. So that's how my my family know that I make it across the border.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then in all the years since 1981, have you been able to go back and visit your family? Have
One
they
time.
one time? And have
One
they been
time.
able to come to the United States at all?
Yeah, my mom and all my three brothers came.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they left Cambodia about 3, 4 years after I did,
Mm-hmm.
but they got stuck in the border for 5 years.
Oh,
5 years. I was working very hard to try to bring them over. There's some complication. By the time they get out from the country, the refugee camp was closed. They
right.
they they stopped receiving more
People.
refugees.
Right.
So that made the complication.
Right.
Yeah. But eventually they was able to come to United States 9 years, no, 8 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1989.
Yes.
Yes. And as you said earlier, you've been back to Cambodia only one time.
One time, the 2015,
Oh,
after 35 years after I left
yeah.
Cambodia. Yeah.
And just share a little bit about what that experience was like going back.
It was a mixed feeling, but the
Mm-hmm.
most exciting of all is I got to see my relative. I
Yes.
have a lot of cousins, aunts, and my dad was still there. He didn't come.
And so you got
Only,
to see your dad?
yeah, I went to see my
Oh,
dad.
how wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, it was nice.
Yes.
Mm.
So talk to me. I mean, this is such a traumatic experience for a young woman to go through. And, looking at who you are today, I know that this experience has built you into the incredible human being you are today. And
Thank you.
talk to me about some of the core values that supported you through your darkest times, that allowed you to be here telling your story today, whereas others unfortunately perished.
Yeah, I had many time to reflect back to my life. What was it that keep me strong? I believe the love from my family. Um, as the firstborn child, I was loved. And I didn't get to talk about when my mom got sick. When I was a teenager, my mom had an accident and she became paralyzed.
Mm.
And she was lifeless, just lay flat on her back, and I was the caregiver. During that time, I I love my family, my mom so much that I would do anything to help her to get back on her feet again. So I did not care for her with resentment,
Right.
not anger, not boring or anything. I love her. And I realized that's the time that I built bond with my mom. We love each other and we know that we love each other so much. So that strong love also helped me during my difficult time. Love as a child and love during my caring for mom. And
Mm-hmm.
also my goal, my purpose. My purpose is not for me to survive just for myself. It's to survive so I can go back home to help out. So the purpose that we have, it had to have like a broader goal or purpose than just being yourself.
Right. It's bigger than you. That
Yeah, bigger
yes.
than yes,
And
yes,
love is such a powerful emotion. Right?
yes, yes.
We're both in purple today, and we were kind of laughing at the beginning of the coincidence of that and talking about how it's one of the high frequency colors, right? And
Mhm.
love is one of the high frequency energies. And we're all energy beings. And when we're in that high frequency energy place, more healing can happen.
Yes, yes,
It was not only driving your mother's physical healing, but your mental and emotional healing to keep you strong
mhm.
during the time that you were a captive in the concentration camp.
Yes, yes. There's so many study that was done here in United States. Study about like they interview the people that got wheeled into the surgery, and they ask them, "Do you have somebody that really loves you, or you really love them? Do you belong to a community that you can share your your goal, your passion, your thought?" And the people that say yes, a majority of them make it through. And
Yes.
the one that say no, very little, very small amount of them that make it through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very true. I heard a statistic recently at a breast connection community that I attended. And I heard that for women with breast cancer that are going through breast cancer, that if they lower their stress, we have to lower our stress in order for the body to get into a healing state,
Mhm.
and they're part of a community, their risk of death from the cancer is reduced by 75%. So
I
you're
believe that.
exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So love, as well as having a purpose that is bigger
Purpose.
than just yourself.
Mhm.
What else?
Hope.
Hope.
Hope. Yes. Not once I ever give up hope. Never. I always think that things will change. Things will change. I will be back home. So that's all. That's all I thought about. I never thought about not making it. No. And also have faith. I believe that there is God that's watch out on us. And I pray, ask God to help me. And I believe that there is God. So have strong faith.
Yes.
And one more thing that I would like to mention is the relationship among the people in the same camp.
Mm-hmm.
I make the sisterhood among those people, and
Right.
we just kind of support one another. We help each other.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Again, there's your community,
Yeah,
right? We're never supposed to do this alone as humans. We all do need community,
yes.
even
And when
today.
I escape,
So then,
yeah, 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 you are right. And when I escape, I didn't do it alone.
right.
I escaped with three of my friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just out of interest, are you still in touch with those 3 friends today?
Well, they live with us for 1 year, and
Mm-hmm.
then they move on to try to find their own family.
Right.
Yeah. So since I
So
left
they
the
all
company,
needed to recover and heal just like you did. And it took that year for them to be able to do that. And
yeah,
then they went to find their own families.
yeah, yeah. So when I left to escape, they also left my family.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so I love these lessons that you're sharing. The
Thank
power of love, the power of hope, the power of faith, and the power of having a bigger purpose. Even without the trauma that you went through, these are powerful lessons for anybody listening to this podcast today.
Yes. Yes.
I talk to people in the health journey that if you have the hope that you can heal, you will heal.
Yes.
If you don't have hope, you won't heal. End of story. And
Yes.
that's the power of our own mind,
Yes.
right? And it comes down to that very simple saying, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right, by Henry
Yeah.
Ford.
Yeah. Yes. Have that faith. Have that faith that it will happen.
Exactly. To know, to trust, to have faith that it will happen.
Yeah.
So just share a little bit about the power of this positive perspective that you created for yourself. And how do you use it in your everyday life now? I know purposeful living is important to you.
Yes, purposeful living is one thing, and the power of positive perspective is another thing. It's very powerful because it's the real, it's reality, but how we see it, it make a big difference. If you see it as a negative, it's the negative energy, but if you find the goodness in it, you will find the positive energy from it. So to make it easy, I'll give an example.
Mm-hmm.
I have an accident a few years back, the car accident, and it was my fault. And I didn't see the red light, and I went through it, and I caused the accident. And that made me blame myself and be angry at myself, and my car was destroyed and all that. And then I wake up to my son and say, hey, wait a minute, hold on. It's only the car. It's only the car that I lost. I'm still alive. I still did not get hit very badly that I become disabled. So that's the positive thing, that I'm still alive. I'm still in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the power of perspective. We can always find something positive about any situation.
Yes. Sometimes we have to step back from it for a minute to have a little bit of space. But yes, to find the positive in any situation. Another way that I like to share that is to question, how is this happening for me? Because that gets you out of the state of being a victim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sure when you looked at the positive perspective, it fueled you to know that it's not your time to leave this earth. There's still more that you are supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that probably led you into purposeful living.
Yep. 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 And another simple example is that when you see the glass at half full,
Yes.
we see the glass is half full. It's not half empty.
Exactly. Exactly. So, talk to me as well about gratitude and forgiveness and your practice of gratitude and forgiveness in your life.
Yes, gratitude is very powerful. That's another form of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You appreciate, we appreciate what we have. If we don't appreciate what we have, we only see the negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I appreciate what I have in the forced labor camp? Well, here what I saw. I saw at least I have my friends. I have friends in the camp that
Mm-hmm.
support me, that help me when I need help. And also, at least they did not beat me up every day, torture me. And at least I'm still alive. I didn't get killed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that's the power of gratitude. I'm grateful that I'm still alive. I'm grateful that I still have my friends around me. And so when we look for gratitude, look for something that is a blessing. It's
Mm-hmm.
something positive. The same, similar to the perspective that
Yes.
we have to be grateful. And how do we forgive? Yes, forgiveness is big.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is the key to give us opportunity to love again. If we cannot forgive, we cannot have enough room in our heart to love again. So it's that powerful.
It is very, very powerful. And it allows you to not be a victim. It allows you to move
Yeah.
forward, leaving the victimhood behind, which allows you to again focus on the positive perspective and be able to step into a place of gratitude.
Yeah. When you forgive, you have to forgive yourself also. I have to forgive myself because most of the time we just beat up ourselves, right?
Yes.
So just like when I had an accident, I beat myself up. I'm just so angry at myself, and then I come to my son and say, oh, "Wait a minute." So nobody is perfect. So including ourselves,
Mhm.
we cannot be perfect all the time. So we have to forgive ourselves.
And what about forgiving the people that were having you work 16 hours a day and guarding you with the automatic weapons, etc., and starving you? Talk to me just about giving forgiveness to them, because that's what I think there might be some listeners thinking that I don't know how to forgive the other person.
Yeah,
And your
that's a big one.
situation, it's a big
Mhm.
one. So I would love for you to share that to help other people listening be able to forgive others.
That's the big and a very difficult one. Very difficult to forgive. But I'm looking at this way. I'm looking at that these people follow the order from from the above. They
Mm-hmm.
just follow the order. If they don't do it, their life is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at that way, I was able to find a way to forgive them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And also, sometimes when we forgive, it isn't necessarily condoning the behavior of the other person. It's
No.
simply forgiving the situation in order to release yourself from the victimhood.
Yes, because if we don't forgive, we stay at the a stage of anger,
Yes.
resentful, bitterness. Yeah. That's not a state that we want to be in at
No,
any time.
no, exactly.
So,
And the way to move through that is forgiveness.
yeah, you have to find the reason why. Find something that you are able to forgive them. Sometimes you have to pray and ask God to help you to forgive
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes that that hurdle is too big for you
Yes.
to handle yourself.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
pray and ask God for help.
And that it may take time. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Yes,
But
it's
knowing that you can, with
mhm.
help and support, is important for people.
Yeah, I have to pray and with the intention that we want to forgive, but just cannot find a way to forgive at this time. Just keep praying and asking.
And then you will be given the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sara, for sharing your story, for having the courage to share it. I'm sure it's still painful every time you share it, but I know that every time you share it, somebody is out there that hears it, that needs to hear it, and that you inspire them on their journey and wherever they are at in their life. And so thank you for being willing to do that. And I want to ask you, as I ask all of my guests on the show, what does "don't wait for your wake up call" mean to you?
Don't wait for your wake up call. For me, it's this: we have to take our own initiative. Be proactive. That's the key word. Be proactive. You don't have to wait until somebody tells you to do something. Like, I had to run away. I had to escape out of the jungle. It's my own initiative that I really know that if I don't do it, nobody will do it for me. So in our life, in any situation, we have to take our own initiative.
I love that. Thank you. Now, I know you've actually written an award-winning book called How I Survived the Killing Fields. Please share a little bit about your book and then how people can get in touch with you. I know that you're an international speaker and people might want to have you speak at their events, etc. How can people get in touch with you?
Sure. Thank you for asking about my book. My book is called How I Survived the Killing Fields, a story of hope, love, and determination. That's what it is. I did not give the straight lesson of anything. My story. It flow. It's it's my journey. So a lot of my reader, they found it very inspiring for them because some of them is going through very difficult situation, health issue, mental issue, whatever situations, they found relief. So I'm so grateful, my gratitude, grateful that I was able to get that out, put in the book form to share. So people can find that book on my website only. It's not on Amazon. My website is my first name and last name, saraim.com. SARAIM.com and /book. And I love to speak, to share my journey and some of the lessons that I learned that I found it was very helpful for me. So my speaking, if you would like to reach me for speaking engagement, you can also find me on my website, saraim.com. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Sara. And I'll make sure all of that is in the show notes as well. And is there any last message you would like to leave the audience as we wrap up this episode?
Last word I want to leave is this: keep building your own resiliency. Resiliency can carry us through any challenge in life. And as we live on this earth, we will meet challenge. As you become resilient, nothing will stop you. Nothing will kill you because the problem can make you stronger because you can overcome any challenge.
I love that. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. And you are just a testament to the human resilience that we have access to that does allow us to overcome any challenge, like you said. So thank you for being a guest on this show, Sara. I really have enjoyed having you here, and it's such a powerful story that will touch so many lives. And thank you to my guests my listeners, who tune in and listen every week. If this episode resonates with you, and perhaps there's someone in your life that feels like they're burdened with a problem right now that they're struggling to work through, share this episode with them. introduce them to Sara's work, her book, her story, so that it can give them hope and help build their resilience muscle as well. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Are you a practitioner or a coach listening to this? If so, I would love to ask you, do you use hypnotherapy in your practice working with clients? And if not, would you like to? The power of hypnotherapy is limitless. And so often we experience our clients struggling to reach their goals. It's because they're coming up against their own brick walls and getting stuck. But you can help them through the power of hypnosis break through all of that, working with their unconscious mind to put the suggestions in, to have them taking the action to achieve the results that they want. They are thrilled with your coaching techniques. They're getting the results they want. You feel amazing because you are helping your client get the results they want. It's a win-win. And another win is that it's an added revenue stream for you in your business. So if you like the feel of helping your clients get the results they want, if you like the sound of that, then definitely reach out, Melissa at yourguidedhealthjourney.com, or click the Linktree link below for my Unlimited Power of Hypnosis class to learn more. It's a weekend designation program that I teach, valid in 42 countries. You write an exam after taking the experiential course, and you can be admitted to the American Board of Hypnotherapy and start using hypnotherapy one-to-one with your clients and have them achieving the results they want. If you're enjoying my content and someone that wants to step into being proactive in your health and learning more, I would love to invite you to join my membership community. There's a link in the show notes. For only $19.99 a month, you get access to all of my content, and there's a lot, as well as weekly calls that you can come and get your health questions answered. It's truly priceless. I'd love to see you join the community. Check out the link in the show notes.